Hey there, welcome back to Christelle's Cooking. And today we're going to be making the best brown butter apple pie. That nutty caramelized flavor is what is going to take this classic dessert to a whole nother level. And trust me, it's easier than you think. Let me show you how. Let's get into it. We're going to start by adding our half a cup of butter to our saucepan. We're going to go ahead and melt that on medium. Once we've melted it completely down, we're going to be watching carefully for it to turn brown. You cannot walk away from this. If you walk away from it for even a second, you run the risk of it burning. So you want to watch this like it's your newborn baby. We are going to start to see it bubble. Once we start seeing it bubble, we really need to keep a good eye. Okay, and as you can see now, it's already starting to have that kind of a foam top. You want that? That's good. And that's how we know we're getting close to it turning into our delicious brown butter. Okay, we're starting to see it want to turn. And I'm telling you, we got to watch it like a hawk because it is going to turn so quickly. And there it goes. There it goes. You can see it turning brown. You see that? That is the flavor that we want. We're going to turn that heat off because we do not want to burn this butter. And now we're going to add in our 1/4 cup of white all-purpose flour. We're going to stir that in to create a nice paste. We want to make sure that it's fully cooked. So once it no longer has the smell of raw flour, that's how you're going to know. It's going to be about 1 to 2 minutes. We're going to be adding in our sugars. I use 1/2 a cup of brown sugar and 1/2 a cup of white granulated sugar. We're going to go ahead and add that in. Once we've got that nice and fully combined, we're going to add in 1/4 cup of just your regular water. And blend that all together. Once we have that mixed together, we're going to turn the heat up. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a little more if you like. And then we're going to go ahead and continue to let this simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes. Once that's done, we're going to take it off the heat and we're going to start peeling and slicing our apples. We're going to be peeling 8 green Granny Smith apples. It's okay if they're a little bruised because we are using these apples in a pie. So it really does not matter if they're bruised. Now we're going to start slicing the apple. As you can see, this apple has a little bit of bruising. It's nothing bad, just it happens. Even though it's not the most pristine, it's still going to be great in this pie. We're going to go ahead and slice the apple. We're going to go ahead and slice the apple. Get as much of the apple as possible. Set that aside. And then we want the slices to be fairly thin. Probably like 1/8. We're going to do that to all of our apples, all 8 of them. So now that we're done slicing our apples, we're going to get started with putting our pre-made pie crust into our pie pan. Using a 9-inch pie pan, I'm going to be gently unrolling our room temperature dough. You don't want for it to be cold because then it's not going to roll out easily. And we want for it to be nice and pliable. We're going to be ever so gentle and we're going to mold this pie crust into the pan. And now that we have our crust, our bottom crust put in, we're going to go ahead and add in our sliced apples. We want to create a little mound on top. We want to make sure it's more geared towards the middle because we want it to have that height. And then we're going to be adding on our delicious sauce. And the sauce is what is going to bring it all together, baby. Let's go ahead and pour that in. If only you could smell it all. It smells so delicious. Lay down a fresh sheet of parchment paper. Taking our second roll and carefully unroll this. We're going to make a nice, pretty little design to our parchment paper so it doesn't stick. You don't have to do this. Using a pie cutter and just cutting about 1-inch slices all the way through. You can make the pie in advance. The pie will stay good for 2 days outside of the fridge and 4 days inside of the fridge. So it's got a pretty good shelf life. I put my little edges on first as my guide, and then I take a middle piece. Let's use you, Mr. Fatty. You look good. Throw that right in the middle, and then one from each side. One here, and one here. Now, adjusting that out a little bit. Now that we have pieces going vertical, we're going to go ahead and lift some of them. So we're going to lift up this one in the middle, and then we'll lift this one, and we're going to go ahead and lay a strip down right there in the middle, and then pull it over to make our little design. And then we're going to do that with the opposite strips. Nice and done. And do it again. And we're going to continue to do that until we have all the strips. Now we're going to go ahead and do that all the way around. All of the little crust pieces together. We're going to try to roll them up to seal the bottom part to the top. Now that we have the pie all ready to go, we're going to give it a quick little egg wash just so it gets that really nice, pretty brown crust. Now that we're all done, we're going to go ahead and pop this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 35 minutes. You're going to check on it periodically to make sure our edges are not browning too quickly. If they are, we're going to put some tin foil around them. But generally at 350 degrees, it should be just fine. So let's go ahead and pop that in the oven. We made the best brown butter apple pie. Now I've already made a slice. We've topped it with some nice vanilla ice cream and some caramel sauce. And let's take a bite. It's time to do a little taste test. This looks so good. You can really taste all the flavors. The cinnamon. It's got the wonderful taste of the brown butter that you can really taste searing through. It's nutty, it's caramelly. Let me know. Try this recipe. If you did brown butter and you didn't do brown butter, if you can taste the difference, and if you think this one is now the best. Okay, bye.